It's track day. What's up, everyone? Thank you for joining me today. It is track day. It is track day at Thunderhill. I'm always excited about track days. I can't really think of a time when I'm not excited about a track day. Now, having said that, last track day was definitely an absolute epic disaster. For those of you who don't know, there is a major problem with the Type R. A few different issues basically resulted in the turbo exploding, and it was a huge mess, absolutely huge mess. Track day was ruined, had to have the car towed back, and since then, got it all cleaned up, replaced parts where I needed to, and we're back. So out here with the FL5 Type R with on-grid, should be a great event. Thunderhill East bypass. Gonna go ahead and get everything unpacked and get ready. All right, so we are mostly set up. I just put on the wheels and tires at home. I didn't want to deal with it at track like I used to in my previous Type R. Just don't have that kind of energy anymore, or time. So anyways, here's the car. All back in one piece. So definitely a few changes this time around, other than the fact that we had to put it back together after the last track disaster. But brand new PRL intercooler had to be changed out because we poured 2 quarts of oil out of it from the turbo exploding. Fun stuff. Brand new turbo. So we went from the RV6 R660 turbo, which was it was a great turbo. Wasn't the turbo's fault. What happened last time, it was a failed OEM bypass valve that destroyed it. So this time around, we're on the MHI Stage 2 turbo by Mitsubishi. So it's like an OEM Plus turbo upgrade. Everyone I've talked to says this is better suited for track, so this is what we're going with. Full Aero by APR. Front lip, canards, side skirts, rear splats, and GT wing. GT250. Super excited to see how that fares on track. Still stock-ish suspension, iBox springs, FK8 iBox springs, which I'm going to talk more about in a second. And tune. So 100 octane tune by Peppo and Ant. Peppo with Red Star Motoring and Peppo at Hybrid Works in Vallejo. 2 tuners that I hold in high regard, very highly respected in the community, and they did the tune on the car. Now here's the thing, I don't really know how much power I'm actually running because the car was on a dyno, But when we pulled it off the dyno, it was very, very, very late at night. I'm talking about 1 a.m. in the morning. And there was a boost leak. So the boost leak didn't really show up until we started turning up the boost on 100 octane, towards the end of the tuning session. And it was already pretty crazy late for Peppo in Puerto Rico. So, shout out to him for hanging out so late with us and trying to get this car ready. But it was just too late. So when the tuning session ended, the final numbers on the dyno with the boost leak was 398 wheel horsepower. And I want to say, 350-ish, maybe 358-ish torque to the wheels. So still very respectable. We did pull the car off of the dyno and we did find the leak. So the leak has since then been fixed. The car is holding all the boost now. PSI has increased since we found the boost leak. The thing is, I don't really know how much power we're running. I did take some data logs and sent them to Peppo to make sure that there's no misfires, no knock. It's good, it's clean. With a full tank of 100 octane, there's no knock issues at all. And we're only at 80% fuel duty cycle, so there's still headroom. And I don't really know how much power I'm running. I just know it's more than 398. I'm gonna estimate it's probably around 420-ish, 430, maybe. It's all an estimate. Now here's a bigger concern. That rear suspension is sagging. I'm gonna go ahead and say this now, like I did before. I don't give a damn what anyone says about FK8 springs or suspension being usable on an FL5, okay? Because right here is evidence that it can't be used. I shouldn't say that. It shouldn't be used, okay? Can you use it? Yes. Will it fit? Yes. If you're pushing the car hard, you probably shouldn't be using FK8 springs on an FL5. Because now what I'm seeing on my suspension is the rear is sagging. And I can only imagine that it's probably because the rear shocks are seeing more load than they were designed to see at the height that it's currently at, because the springs aren't right. And that's really where the difference is. I'm working very closely together with AST Moton to develop a true coilover for the FL5 Type R. Okay, two different sets of coilovers. One, it's really hard to call it entry level because it's still ultra high end, and then two, just motorsport beauty, motorsport perfection suspension for this car. Little teaser there. Okay, so how I know the suspension is continuing to sag is when we did the alignment the first time, we were trying to get more camber on the front end. I don't have any camber adjustment in the front. It's maxed out. We took the retaining pin out, and it maxed out last time at -2.1 in the front. And we set the rear to -2. So even though I'd really like to have more negative camber in the front, it was maxed out. And just to kind of see what it would do, how it would feel, we just kept the rear at -2. Now, the front camber is still at about -2. It actually went back up to -1.9, -2. So it lost a little bit of negative camber because the rear gained a bunch of negative camber. Now the rear is at negative 2.4, negative 2.3, so it sagged more and therefore introduced more. It sagged, and as it sagged, the wheels tucked in a little more, just a touch. So now the rear is lower as compared to the front, relative to the front, and therefore that's why the front lost a little bit of its negative as well. So definitely not ideal. Not ideal. Not ideal alignment, and I'm just kind of limited to what my adjustability is in the front, and I haven't gotten any front adjustability components because I'm waiting for my coilovers, AST. Yeah. So we're just gonna deal with it. Oh, and probably, I'd say probably my favorite mod, other than the big brake kit to date, is the all-new hybrid short shifter for the FL5 Type R. Guys, this thing feels so good on the street. And there is a slight braking period, there is. So I will tell you, if you do get this kit for yourself, just know that there's a little bit of a braking period. It's gonna feel a little stiffer than you may like it at first. After driving it for a little while, now I put like probably 400 miles on it. It's really nice. It's very short, but controllable. The shifts are not overly notchy. They've got just enough notchiness in them to know that you're in the gear. And that's really the point. You want to be confident in knowing that you're in a gear. And that's absolutely the feeling I get here. So very excited to see how that feels out on track. Excited to see how the Aero feels. A little bit bummed that the suspension is kind of taking a crap on me. Hopefully nothing else goes on with it, but yeah. We're gonna wait for this first session. We're all set up, we're ready to go. We'll head out and see how we do. wheel weights just fell off. Melted off, I should say. That's not good. I guess I was putting some heat into the wheels. All right, where were we? Session 1 done. New PB, 158.84. And while I am happy with that, the car is understeering like a stuck pig. Actually, the saying is squealing like a stuck pig, but I don't care. That's how I'm using it. Yeah, understeering like crazy. And that's all because of the alignment. It's unfortunate. New PB. I was expecting to be in the 158s today. Seeing how the car is performing, the Aero feels good. Like I can actually feel the downforce working. I don't know how much I'm getting in the front, but overall the balance feels decently good at high speed. Turn 8, I was able to carry a lot more speed than I was last time. A little bit of that is more confidence too. Shifter feels amazing. I did miss shift a few times earlier in the session. I revved up to the top of third, and instead of going to fourth, I went into second. Engine is fine. Going from third to second is not nearly as bad as going from fourth to first or fifth to second. That would have been bad, but it's just a matter of getting used to the new shifter. It's definitely shorter. I have to be very deliberate about going into fourth gear. Fourth gear is the thing I'm struggling with the most, and towards the end of the session I started to get more comfortable with the spacing and how the shifter felt. So everything is fine there. 158.84, new PB. Happy with it, but I know there's so much more time left in this car. It's just too bad. The alignment is kind of stuck where it's at. And well, anyways, happy news. I just got off the phone with Rich Farler, Doteki Auto Solutions. He's developing the suspension with me, with the coilovers on this car and my Supra. Same company that's doing both of my vehicles, and so he just told me that my new suspension for the FL5 may be here sooner than later. So thank goodness for that, because I can't. I think this rear suspension in this car, it just cannot handle. It just can't handle FK8 stuff. You know, it's just not. It's not meant for it. The spring is totally wrong. So, anyways, I'm gonna just check the car, make sure everything is good. Temps, it did start to get pretty warm. Oil temps got up to, I want to say 285, 289. Loud cars. Oil temps got up to about 289. That's the highest I saw in the session. Water temps were about 224, 225. It's much cooler out here today than it was the last time we were out. I think ambient temps right now are probably mid 60s, maybe 65, something like that. So it's nice and cool. This is as ideal track conditions as you could hope for right now. It's definitely going to get colder in the year, but then you start introducing the chance of rain. So this is about the best we're probably going to see for the rest of this year in overall track conditions for Thunder Hill. Again, just a bummer with the suspension, but hey, new PB 158.84, I'll take it. We'll see if we can do better next time. All right, real quick, I want to show you guys my helmet cam setup. So this is what we used last time, which really turns out that this isn't what I wanted to use. But I couldn't find the clip that I typically use. So anyways, just show you this. So this is for my Insta360 Go 2. Okay. It works fine. The shot was great. It was high enough to where the point of view was good. I don't really like where it's placed because it's kind of in my eyesight in a spot I don't like it. Let me get the other setup on here and I'll show you how I think this is probably, not this, but the other setup is probably the best point of view setup for a helmet cam. All right, so here is my new to you guys, helmet setup with my Insta360 Go 2 and 3. So I picked up the Go 3. The Go 2 will fit in this easy clip as well. So very simple. Pop this out of the case and then pop it onto the helmet just like that. It's a very strong magnet. When you're about to start your session, you just push right there. There's a strong vibration that indicates that it is now recording, and that's it. It's perfect point of view. It gets you enough of the cabin, enough of the steering wheel, enough of the driver inputs to see what you need to see, and it's absolutely perfect. I can't think of a better setup that I've had. I've used GoPros, I've used everything. I've used, you know, the aim camera setup, and it's just so clunky and difficult to mount up in the car unless you have a roll cage, which I clearly don't. This is absolutely perfect, and it stays on the helmet, so you can use this in any car that you drive. Session 2 done, in the books. Another PB, 158.54. I bumped up the pressure in the rear just to try and get a little bit more rotation. That did help a little bit. I might bump it up another couple of PSI just to, you know, see how it goes. And happy with the car, happy with the time. Another PB. Can't complain too much. I can cry all day long about the alignment. It's not going to change anything. It is where it's at. We can kind of drive around it. So I'm having to stay off of throttle and be really disciplined with the throttle pedal to not overwhelm the front tires, which, I mean, with the additional power too, and the alignment where it's at, it's touchy. It's definitely touchy. If I give it just a hair too much gas, especially with the torque that's in the car, which I don't even know what the torque is at the moment, it'll just light up the front tires and the car just wants to go straight off the track. So happy. Everything is good. Temps are actually all right. You know, and take that with a grain of salt, because all right means after out lap plus 3 laps, I'm at about 289 Fahrenheit on the oil. But that's way better than it was the last time we were out here, when it was over 300 on the oil. Coolant temps are still around 225, 227. It's fine. You know, it's warm. It's definitely warm. It's not overheating, but it is warm. So yeah, I mean, it's good, guys. You know, it's 65 degrees ambient temperature out, so it's nice and cool. Just a light breeze. Conditions are perfect. Definitely PB weather. So we're gonna wait for session 3 and head out. All right, session 3 done. Had a ride along this time, and it started to sprinkle a little bit, so we had a little bit of a moist track. Nothing crazy. Car was still gripping fairly well, but 2 minutes flat. There's definitely more in the car. So definitely ideal temperatures today for the track. Hopefully it dries up later. We might go out for another session depending on what this weather does, but we'll see. But overall, I gotta tell you, today I'm really happy with the car. So far, 158.54, new PB. Car feels great. No issues, nothing like the last time. The turbo is fantastic. Cooling issues aren't really there because it's so cool outside. It did get up to 293, 295 on the oil temp, which is hot. Don't let anybody tell you that that is not hot, because it is hot. But it's much better than it would be if it were even over 70 degrees out here. So, I mean, the car is still going to overheat. You know, it just is. I need some proper oil cooling and some more heat exchangers. Well, we'll figure it out, guys. You know I'm going to sort this thing out. So, shifter feels great. I'm getting used to the gear spacing. And this is exactly why I wanted to keep the side-to-side spacing on the shifter as close to OEM as possible. It's still shorter side-to-side than OEM, but it's on its longest setting on the shifter itself. The throw is as short as it will go. So shifter feels great. Aero feels really good. It's just, I need suspension. I need coilovers. So anyways, I think that's going to be really close on the horizon here. Very close. It's all hearsay. But anyways, we're going to break for lunch. We'll see what the weather's going to do, and maybe we'll head back out. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell by the camera, but it's coming down pretty good right now. Yep. So I think we're just going to call it a day for today. Just wrap up the video here. Just wanted to summarize how the day went. I think I'm really happy with where things are at. Biggest weak point right now is just the stock shocks, the stock dampers, and just not being able to adjust the suspension where I need it to be. The RV6 stuff in the back for the suspension is fantastic. It's just I can't really utilize the adjustability in that because I can't get the front where I want it to be, because I don't have any adjustment in the front beyond what's possible stock. And stock, there just isn't any real adjustability there. So anyways, I'm beating a dead horse. You guys get the idea. 158.54, new PB, 158.89, first session out. That was also the first PB, second PB. It's great. Car feels good. I'm just happy that the car feels strong again. All of the underlying issues, actually not even underlying, but the massive issue that we had with the turbo blowing last time because of the failed OEM bypass valve, I can safely say we have moved past that point. Back on track, beating up on the car. Everything looks good. Fuel pressure looks good. Oil pressure looks good. No overheating today. Nothing I would call overheating, but I think most of that is because it was a nice cool day out. Still need to get some proper oil cooling in the car. There isn't really a good solution for it yet. And, you know, I was talking with some of my buddies. There are some ways that I could fashion an oil cooler for it. I don't want to just rush into it just to get an oil cooler in the car. I want to do it in a way that, you know, looks like it was well thought out and planned, and not just buy some brackets from Home Depot and fit it where you can find a spot for it. That's what I don't want to do. So anyhow, thank you for watching. If you stuck with me this long, thank you very much. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the whole new setup, the APR Aero, the hybrid shifter. I mean, it's totally awesome. You know, that stuff worked beautifully today. Absolutely beautifully. But that's it for today. Until next time, stay hungry, stay fast, stay tuned. I'm Michael Baxi, and I'm out.
Okay, I've been working like 3 jobs. Probably why I never see ya. Probably why I never have time for the fake friends I won't be ya. Oh God, I've been running now. Up early when the sun is out. Not setting out my own soul, but those real ones, they coming out. Oh look who's reaching out. Old friends wanna feature now. They don't work, so they need it free. Ooh, you reaching out from the west side of that OT.